Hi there. You're going to meet Ed Sexton today. He's number one, number two, right up in that top echelon of real estate agents, no matter how you look at it, in Yuma, Arizona. It's a place I drove through a lot with my wife's family being in Phoenix and me living in San Diego. So I'm actually very familiar, Ed, with Yuma. All right. Good movie, too. I'm sure that comes up a lot when you talk to people about Yuma
Yes.
across the country. 310. 17 years. He's been selling real estate, team of six, roughly maybe $40 million a year in volume. Good solid team for Yuma. And the reason we're doing this interview today is that Vyral Marketing is working for him. You landed a $55,000 commission off of a past client of yours sharing one of your videos. Is that right, Ed?
Well, it was commission and sell. I buy and sell properties too. So this is one that we bought and are reselling. Right.
Okay, got it. So this is you. This is the cash offer that you made,
That's
fixing up and
correct.
reselling it. Yeah,
That's
good.
correct.
Good for you. So we're going to dive into what Ed's doing today to get Vyral Marketing to work. So if you're a client and you want better results from your viral marketing system with us, or you're thinking about hiring us, you want to know how to use it better, or you're just watching these interviews as a real estate professional, or honestly in any business where you're selling, the intangible professional services, how do you stay in touch with your database? What's the best 36 touch plan to round up all your past clients, all your sphere, all your leads, and get them something consistently to the point of diminishing marginal returns, or doesn't suck up all of your time, to get a return on your time and your financial investment? I think, Ed, that's something you figured out because just this past year, after 17 years in the business, you effectively made the decision to no longer personally, at least directly, at least structurally, work directly with clients where you so-called stepped out of production in the past year. Why don't we just start off there? Tell me about that decision, because that's a big move. When someone else
Right.
is working with all the clients and you're responsible for generating all the leads, will they do their job?
Right. So, it actually came over time. Just so you know, we're obviously we're with Keller Williams, and my wife and I started the Keller Williams in Yuma, and I was the OP there and ran a team at the same time for years. So that's how I got started. So, 2 years ago, maybe three, about 2 years ago, I stepped back from the OP position. I'm an investor in the market center now. My team leader, who had been my team leader for years, she stepped up, jumped right in, actually does a better job than I did as OP, which I love. And she's killing it. And so then I said, hey, I'm going to try to do the same thing with the team. And so that's really where we started this year, was with the idea of getting out of production, which I did. So
You're a good leader, Ed, to be able to lead a KW office like that, where you step out as the investor with someone else in
right,
charge and be able to step out of a team.
yeah.
How has your marketing helped you with that? So tell me about you. You made this decision to hire us. I also know that you follow one of our clients, Dave Hook,
Right.
and purchased and implemented everything he's been doing to work his database. Tell me, maybe just take me back to your decision to go down the path of following what he does for the team, and your decision to give us money versus the thousands of other vendors out there who will provide marketing services to you, about why you went down this direction.
It is interesting, and I have, like you say, there's thousands of other vendors, and I have given most of them money from at different
Over
times
17
in my,
years.
yeah, exactly. And so, we've done radio, television, we've done a lot of different things, and what we're always looking for is a return on our investment, right? And so, as we looked at what we were doing, I knew, and we consistently stay about right here with the team. Once we've had this team for really solid for about the last 5 or 6 years, is we always run about 27 to 30% of COI or past clients. That's where the primary piece of our business comes from. And I just know that we can get that up better. And a lot of that is my COI and my past clients from when I was a single agent before we started the team, jumped into the Keller Williams, that sort of stuff. And we really always given it a lot of lip service, hitting our COI great. We do a lot of calling. We were a prospecting team, that sort of thing. So we worked a lot of cold leads as well, which tends to be where your focus drifts a lot of times rather than COI. And so I knew that we wanted to do something to really engage our COI and our past clients. And I'd been getting, obviously, being in the business for a long time, and we do referrals with Chris Heller's team, Thomas Baker out of La Jolla. He's also a viral marketing client, Christy Hill. I sold a house with her in North Carolina that I bought back in 1991. She did a great job for me. So all along I've been getting viral marketing things from these agents that have sent them to me that I do business with over the years as I've been in their database. And we just thought that that was going to be a great fit for us to move forward because we really want to move that up to at least 50% and possibly more. We certainly have a very expansive list of those clients and we want to increase.
What are the top lead sources for your team in Yuma? Can you take me to the
Right?
top three?
Yep, absolutely. COI is number one. That's 27%. Our Google leads are what are really sync leads, commission sync leads that we actually hire ISAs as well to convert. That's 22%. And believe it or not, last year it was golden letters. Those were working really great for us and had for several years. But they kind of died off a little bit this year and so we pulled back on those, but sign calls, believe it or not, is 13, almost 14% of our business.
So COI, I think everyone understands that. I loved how you said how your focus drifts towards the cold leads,
Yeah, it
and
does.
then doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Um, Tell me about the decision where it's like I have to pull focus back to the COI and spend money and resources on that. What was the pain?
There's always pain, right? There's always
Yeah,
pain. So we had been a team that was running between 175 and 200 units a year. I decided to get out of production and I wanted that to stay the same. This year we're probably going to hit around 155, which is low. In other words, we started seeing our monthly sales drift down a little bit. And really our lead sources started to bring in less leads. So Commissions Inc. was typically for what we spend, and we have a lender that pays for Commissions Inc. everything we do there, which is about $5,000 a month. We went from about 420 leads a month down to about 320 leads a month. Now we made some big changes there, and we work with those guys, and we've gotten that back up. But then I knew, well, if that's an issue, then we've really got to work on our COI as leads become more expensive because COI leads, they're not expensive, right? Your
this is
return on
great. Yeah.
investment, yeah, return on investment on on the Google leads or the sync leads is about 4.5 to 1. But when you look at what we do, even if you just take out what we're just starting to get into viral marketing, but if you take out what we were doing before, which is basically phone calls, and which is really inexpensive, and we do more business out of that than we do through Google, then our ROI on that is almost nothing. I mean, we just pay almost nothing there.
You'll get really good results too if you call, because you have a good call team,
Yeah, we do.
320 leads from
Right.
sync. If you could divert a little bit of focus or just maybe find someone else to focus on people clicking the links and the
Right.
emails going out. So when you make a video on 3 things you got to know before you sell your house in Yuma, that goes out to however many it is, but you can see who actually clicks to watch it.
Right.
Treat those like leads from sync.
Yeah.
Treat the people clicking the links just like a lead coming in.
Right. We love the way you guys do that too. I mean, we get that email
Report.
response, and yeah, and I always love the way, and I'll tell you, we haven't been with you guys for long, but as we looked at this, we were like, wow, we get a lot of information back from you when we send something out, like what themes are working with people, what causes people to open the watch the videos, who's clicking on the emails, and it's been really eye opening for us, and we obviously we have ISAs and then we have each team member has their lead source, their COIs, people like that. And quite frankly, the COIs are who usually, and past clients are who usually click on these links anyway.
Golden letters. I'm really big into that. It's not something Vyral does. The golden letter is a Keller Williams term for those of you watching. It's just a very short 8.5 by 11. Doesn't have to be, but usually it's a simple, regular number 10 envelope. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper saying, "Hey, dear homeowner, would you be interested in selling your home to a buyer of mine? I got someone who wants to buy your home. Give me a call. I could tell you what they can pay you." That's something, the gist of that, right, Ed?
Right, exactly.
How at your peak, how many were you sending?
We were sending 500 a week.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And people would call, and that would be
Yes.
your listing source. I'm
Yes.
just curious, Do you think that you stopped that because your focus was pulled? Do you think you stopped that because for whatever reason, just your money went someplace else? Do you think you stopped it because the messaging no longer works because maybe it's too saturated? Or did you stop it because just less people are selling and there's not much of a market to respond to letters? I'm curious to know your thoughts on that as
Well,
one of the top
and
agents in Yuma.
right. And so what I do is I talk to agents outside of Yuma, obviously, being with Keller Williams, and I have a lot of friends that are in different areas, and a lot of guys send golden letters. A lot of guys that I know that produce pretty well, and I saw several guys who were having the same response as me, and I thought and it may be coming back, but as the listing market kind of shrunk, and for us that's down about 32% this year. Then what I saw was they became less effective. In other words,
Yeah.
I just saw a stat yesterday where first-time home buyers are now bounced back up from like a low of 27% back up to 50%, because move-up buyers have kind of and investors have moved out of the space a little bit. So it's interesting as you shift with different markets. But yeah, we saw them. I just saw them being much less effective, and they're almost no noise. I mean, they're great. I mean, you just send them out. Somebody calls you, you talk to them, and
Yeah.
you sell their house, and it's kind of great.
If you have a chance every week, Ed, I take about 2 to 3 clients through an 8-week course to audit everything they're doing through Viral. So there's about 8 key things that if you were to call me up and say, Frank, how do I really maximize Viral, and or I'm struggling, I need to get better results. Let me go through the 8 things I would audit with you, which for those of you watching, or Ed, you too, you can go to getviral.com/class. And these 2 to 3 clients, you'll watch me work with them for an hour every week for 8 weeks, dialing these 8 things in
Oh
to get the
wow,
most results. Yeah. So here's the lesson. So here's the questions I ask. Are you prospecting and advertising correctly to build a database of your target client? First one. Now, Viral doesn't do that because I work your existing database.
right,
But what usually comes up in that first meeting with mostly real estate professionals, I want listings. And it's usually some type of direct mail or cold call with, I have buyers for your home.
right,
So to build that list. Then second, we have to make sure we have your latest database in our system and set up for some light retargeting. Third, is your existing database getting 2 helpful videos a month? You know that well, Ed.
right,
Fourth, is your database getting one offer for immediate response every month, one direct lead generation email a month, find out what your home is worth, get a cash offer, search for homes, driving into some type of landing page. Number 5, are your best contacts in your database getting one personal letter a month, maybe only 150 for you, Ed, maybe a little more,
right.
of your best contacts receiving something in the mail versus just using digital? Meaning number 6, is everyone in your database and the people who visit your website seeing you about 6 to 8 times a month through retargeting on social media by putting a little money behind your videos? Not much, but just enough to be there for your top people. Meaning number 7, uh, are people who watch your videos getting called? Ed, you're going to do a great job at that.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And then last but not least, and you probably know this well working for Keller Williams Market Center, or owning one rather, is do we have any complementary businesses advertising with you to lower your cost once you get this
Right.
going? So for those of you that want to watch that, that's available to you. You can go to getviral.com and class see that. But I just bring up the golden letter because that's usually what comes up as one of the most effective ways of building your list of homeowners is that your market's down 32%. So yeah, you're
Right.
going to have a decrease in response.
Right.
So, okay. You bought Dave Hook's course.
Right.
So at Vyral Marketing, we kind of give you a 36 touch program.
Right.
2 videos a month, one monthly direct offer email sent out through multiple media. Dave is a client of ours. I think he's in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Has a 60 or 70 touch thing, a lot more mail.
Right.
What else are you doing in addition to Viral to work your database? So besides what we just covered there with those 8 things, which you can go deep on with us, what else are you doing?
Well, right. So, like most people, I don't have many original thoughts, so I copy people who are really good. And then Dave he had a great plan, right? And so it kind of resonated with me, and I was pretty excited about. I knew I wanted to hit the database. So what we've done is right now. we've got every agent building up their COI. So we're trying to get everybody to at least 250 on their COI. Okay,
And that's 6 agents you had doing
six
that?
agents, right? I probably have in my COI. I think I've already done mine. So, and I went through it individually on mine too, because really there's nobody that can build your COI besides you,
No.
right? And there's just not. So it's a lot of grueling, just horrible work that you really don't want to do. But it's just got to be done. And so you get down and you do it, and if you can build it, um, then the next thing to do is, well, then how do you engage it? And so I do like the 36 touch program, but what Dave had was, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're just doing a little spin on his stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is the pies in November. Now, we had done pies before, but they were, we went to Costco or Sam's and we got, the crappy pumpkin pie that we would hand out to you at Thanksgiving. And what we're going to do this year is we've got a gal who actually makes some great pies. And so the way we're going to advertise it is we're going to have the whole team do a tasting and give their favorite pie flavors that you can order, like 3 or 4 different types that she has. And we're going to send out a video on that first to our database, right? We're going to then have every agent call their own database and excuse me, if we've had, we have some past clients who they've left the team, but their past clients stayed with us, right? And so what we'll do is have the ISAs, or they'll be reassigned to an agent, but they'll be engaged. And then we're just going to have people come up and sign up for these good pies, right? And then we're going to take the equal number of pies that we give out, and we're going to give 100 to 150, we believe. We're going to give the equal number to a charitable organization over the same time. We're going to spread that around 3 or 4 in Yuma, that we're going to give them these great pies over Thanksgiving as well, and we'll piggyback off of them some as well. So we're going to use that to try to really engage our database at Thanksgiving. So that's going to be our first one.
So, in addition to Vyral, meet with all 6 agents. You guys got to go through and build the people that you know. What's the rule you would give them to be one of the 250? What's the test? Where they pass that test, you add them to the 250. What did you tell them?
Oh, you know what? I mean, these are people that you have relationships with. And Dave Hook, actually, on your video with him, he kind of describes it best as, you've got to spend several hours with somebody to start building their trust. So, if you've got somebody that you're really engaged with, that is a family member, a friend, a past, past clients automatically go into our deal, but they're just people that you actually know and have a relationship with. So it's probably not as effective to throw in, like, get your church directory and throw everybody in your church in there, right? But it is effective if you're in a small group in that church to use those kind of people.
Cool. So tell me about the story really quick. You're
Oh,
really excited about the story about, hey, Viral's marketing's bringing me ROI. I can track it.
yeah,
I'm
I
making
love
money.
it.
This is a good deal.
Yeah,
Tell me all about
I
it.
love it. So I had a past client, and he had literally got me because we were, he just pulled up top producers in Yuma, picked me, he just called me, and he had 2 houses, and he would go to the Colorado River, and he would boat, and so he lived in San Diego, and he would boat on the Colorado River on the weekends, and he would just buy an investment property somewhere, but he had a pretty nice house in a neighborhood called Tamarack, and he sold one with me. He sold his investment property with me. Then his kids were older, and they had a couple of places, different places that they had vacation homes, so they were just leaving Yuma. And so then he sold the house that he and his kids had too. And so I sold both of those. He was a great guy. And when Frank, when you meet somebody and you realize that they're like kind of an influencer, they're like super friendly. They want to know about you. He was one of those kind of guys, right? You just got a great feel about this guy. And I actually got to sit down and meet him. He came over one day from San Diego, and just a super great guy. But he went in my database, and my thought was, gosh, he's never coming back to Yuma. He'll never have, I mean, this was just his vacation home. How many people does he really know here? But everybody stays in the database that we email to, right? And so we've got about 14,000 people in that database. And
Wow.
and so he stays in that. And he had a friend of his whose parents lived in the same neighborhood. They know each other from San Diego. The guy calls him and says, "Hey, I've got to put my parents had to go into assisted living facility. I just want to move this property and I want to do it carefree." And they're just talking, right? And so my client said, "Hey, you gotta. I just got this video of this guy. Here's the guy I use in Yuma, but don't just listen to me. I want you to watch this video." And it was me doing market stats in Yuma, right? A viral marketing video.
Oh, it's
He
so cool.
shoots, yeah, he shoots the video over to this guy. The guy calls one of my team members. I'm out of production, right? So he calls one of my team members who calls me and says, "Hey, I get this listing this morning." The guy called me on like Sunday, and I'm going to list this house on Monday. And like he called him Sunday night, and he was going out on Monday. And I said, "Well, just see what you got." And it was in the same neighborhood, Tamarack. And he said, "Just see what you've got." And this house had some issues with it, not anything major, but just a few issues. And I flip a lot of houses anyway, so I knew I could fix the issues. But anyway, he calls me. I said, "Well, just make sure he knows that if he really wants a seamless sell, that he can have a cash offer as well." So,
Can I step in really quick?
yeah,
You feel okay doing that. A lot of real estate professionals that I speak to feel like that's inappropriate to even say I can buy it myself.
I don't at all. I mean, I basically give them options. And you know what I'll always tell them, Frank? I'm always pretty upfront about this. I am absolutely not your best money option.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. I buy a lot of distressed properties too, and I can tell you about that a little bit. But I always walk in and I give them every solution that they could have, and I never push myself, right? And quite frankly, that probably gets me more of these deals than anything else. Is I tell them, "Look, this is not the best money deal for you, but I'm a sure thing, and I'll close in 10 days," right?
Yeah, it's the kind of the worst price, best terms.
Right, exactly. And so that's what it becomes. And I last year I bought just off topic. I bought one last year for a couple that was going into foreclosure. And I sat down with them, and we had time to sell their house. And I said, "Look, let us sell your house. You'll make more money on this than you will if I buy it, right?" And the guy, I sat down. I had another agent on my team going with them. I was the cash buyer, and after we got through with it, the guy walked me to the door and he goes, "I'm taking your offer." And I said, "Well, realize I want you to talk to her about it by yourself, because realize that this is not the best deal for you." And I still bought their house. So a lot of people just want to push the easy button. And a lot of people, they just like the better terms. So,
Gary Keller's been saying that for ever since I've known him. You guys are in the best business, and you have some of these opportunities put in front of you, and to see if you can make that cash offer and have lenders available if you're lucky enough to have the money saved up to use as your own personal line of credit, all the better. That's cool to hear, Ed. I hope you get
yeah,
more of those deals. So you ended up purchasing it, you
right.
fixed it
Purchased
up.
it. I did. It didn't take me much. Actually, it's kind of a neat story. So they left everything in it, and there was a lot of stuff in there. And so I hired somebody to go in and sell all the stuff in the house, and I made $2,600 just off.
Oh,
I
they just
split the
left
money
all
with them.
this.
I made
They
twenty
literally
six
gave
hundred.
you the keys.
Yeah, it gave me the keys. Left it. They took whatever they
Oh, I
wanted.
don't think I've ever done anything like that. They literally gave you the keys with the stuff in there.
Right, and it was just done, and so then we sold all the stuff inside. I gave half of it to whoever sold it, and then I took the other half, and we got it on the market on Friday. We did a couple of days of pre-marketing before we hit the MLS. We actually hit the MLS yesterday, and I've already got one offer. I got a verbal, which I didn't take, and then I got another offer coming this morning that's supposed to be full price. We'll see. So like I say, I'll make about $58,000 all told on this one deal.
You know, we like to call that long time ago, 10 years, when I was first selling viral marketing, is I would always call it word of mouse. I heard that somewhere where that's what you got. You got word of mouse, right? Like you got
Right,
yourself on video and someone shared the video. Isn't that great?
right, exactly.
It reminds me of there's a there's a great marketing book by Seth Godin, Richard, maybe 20 years ago written. Um, I forget what the book is, but the whole book was about creating remarkable content. Like your content or whatever you create for your marketing needs to be truly remarkable. But he defined remarkable as like the actual essence of the word is like worth making a remark about, worth commenting on, worth sharing, worth forwarding. And if you can create remarkable content, that's where you start getting this word of mouth and it shares. And that's what you did, Ed.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Your
Well, and
content
you
is
helped
by
me, so thank
definition
you.
remarkable.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, big kudos to you guys. So thanks.
So just a couple things, let me just give you a couple of tips as you continue as a client. Make sure that every single contact, like how probably on your team board, you're probably tracking how many, you're a calling guy, how many dials, how many contacts, how many appointments, how many deals. I'd like you to add, um, just to make sure every time that there's after a contact, like someone responds to you, or add subscriber to that list. That's the
Okay.
wealth of your prospecting.
Ah,
And if you could bring awareness to your agents where it's like, look, we have our income, our dials, our contacts, our appointments, but we're going to get a lot of no's to get a yes. And between the yes and the no, there might be some maybes or at least some permission to stay in touch.
right.
We can at least slow down and make sure that we ask for their email address and what's the best contact information to put them on our newsletter.
Right.
Um, there's an agent out in Myrtle Beach, had 30 agents working for him at one time, probably more now, that would each speak. This is back in the day. I don't think you probably get your contact rates this high, but would speak to 30 people a day. So his office would speak to 900 people a day. And I brought this up to him and said, hey, well, you get really kind of how many email addresses, how much permission are you getting to stay in touch, right? To get put on your newsletter? How many free subscriptions are you giving to your newsletter off the 900 a day? Is like none. I'm like, dude, why don't you just go talk to your agents, put together a focus, hold it accountable, teach them to make sure that they slow down and ask for contact information to put it in the database. And when he did that, it was about a third every day. So he said, yeah, about 300 people gave us their email address. I'm like, whoa, times
Wow.
five, 1,500 a week. Then I multiply that by four. I'm like thousands of people a month adding to the database just by kind of switching that focus from the call
Right.
team to ask for contact information.
Right.
Ed, do that.
Yeah, that I got to tell you, that's actually great. And with Sync, we typically capture all that information, which is great, which is why our
Mhm.
database has gotten to be so big. But you're right, everybody ought to be thought of in the same way. Everybody you talk
Yeah.
to, right?
So like whenever, you're probably tracking how many contacts you guys make a week.
Right.
Just add subscribers there, man. Just see if you
Okay.
can double check
Absolutely.
and just say
Yeah, I like it.
and teach it as wealth. Like we got to build the wealth. We got to think of the present bank and future bank, the where we're going,
Right.
because your marginal cost does not go up much whether you give me 1,000 more people or 5,000 more people, 10,000 more
Right.
people, right?
Right.
So I think if you could do that with your team, I'll be able to do a really good job for you at Viral.
Yeah.
And next thing, ask your coach here to send out the cash offer email.
Okay.
So the cash offer email is, hey, are you thinking about selling your home? I can get you an offer off market that's not necessarily having to go through the open houses and showings of a traditional sale. It's not
Okay.
necessarily the highest price, but it's fast and easy,
Right.
right? And if you'd like to know what myself or my off market buyers would pay today for your home immediately with no contingencies, no issues, no problems, no hassle, just enter your information here in this form. I will tell you.
Perfect. Yeah,
And let's
we'll
see
do
if we can
that.
make that 55,000, 110,000
All right. Sounds
with another
good.
deal.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Yeah, get the cash offer in the Keller Williams language, the MOFR, the make offer for immediate response, right, Ed?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
Any tips? Last question. So, someone's watching this. Maybe they're on the fence about hiring Viral, or they're a client and they're not seeing the results that they want. You've been in this game for a long time. What advice would you give them if they truly were to ask you that question?
Here's exactly what I would say. Don't do what I did. Don't lose focus on those most important people and the best lead source that you'll ever have, which is your COI and past clients.
Nope. I think we lost Ed. Go ahead. Yeah, just re-say what you were going to say there. Yeah. We send about 90 million emails a year in my contract. So to our email marketing company, send them $130,000, Ed, for all the email credits I have to buy. Yeah, yeah. So we know what's getting the best click-through rates, and we haven't been able to do it quite consistently as I want on my business end. But every Saturday we publish our weekly newsletter, and I put the best stuff in that newsletter. The Facebook retargeting has the best click-through rates. The emails that get the best click-through rates. You can also ask us internally. We have a sheet that all of our people pull up of like what's getting the most action. It's right there. So I have like the primary data of that, and you can use that to model your own topics. Ed, thanks for doing this. If anybody has any referrals, what should they Google to find you? Just Ed Sexton Yuma, I guess. Cool. Ed, thank you so much.